This video is going to answer that burning question that you have maybe thought of before. Why is it that 90%, or should I say, am I not getting results with Google Ads? Why do most of the people I talk to say they don't get results with Google Ads? The truth is 90% of the people that do Google Ads or try it don't actually get any results, but that does not mean it doesn't work. The reason for that is it's not an either or thing. It's not like you put a coin into a slot on a vending machine and either the product comes out or not. How you put the quarter into the slot, proverbial slot, itself dictates whether or not the money comes out the other side or not, and the campaign pays for itself. Most of the people that I talk to that say Google Ads doesn't work doesn't understand these core concepts. It's not about if Google Ads works, but are you competent enough, or do you have enough knowledge to understand how to make it work? And then furthermore, if they do understand a little bit about what makes Google Ads work versus what makes it not work, are they going to actually invest the time, the bigger one, and the money to actually get it to work? Because there's a certain amount of time and money that has to be put into Google Ads in order to get it to work. You're not going to just slide your $100 bill in, and then on the other side you're going to get 1,000 back, and then you're going to take that 1,000 and put 1,000 in, and you're going to get 10,000 back, and you're going to be rich in 2 months. This is something that all the people in your business or your niche or space are too dumb to figure out or try, because most of the people that have been in your space have tried it. I see the people that come in and out of Google Ads all the time, and they're all making the same basic mistakes, and most of it is mental. They either don't want to work, they don't want to wait, too impatient's the biggest one, and they don't understand that it takes the time as well on top of everything else. I'm here making this video today to tell you that Google Ads will always work if you just know the key tenets that you need to know to put things into perspective on how and why it works, and if you're going to put the time in to actually do what's required to make it work. For the most part, unless there's no market for your product or service, meaning nobody else, like you go to type in your keywords that you think match your product or service on Google, and there's nobody else advertising on Google Ads, but instead if you see there's 4 people already advertising on Google Ads, it works. Trust me, all those people aren't just complete dumbasses and are wasting their money every month. They're getting a return. At least some of them are getting a return. About 20% make 80% of the money. But some people of the people that show up that you see are making money. The only question is it going to be you, or are you going to be a part of the 90% who tries it, that's in and out, and then says Google Ads doesn't work? So if you put the time and money in and you do exactly what I'm telling you here today, you will make it work, assuming there is a market for your product or service on Google in the first place. People are searching for it and they're willing to part with their money buying it, which to that concern, if there's other people advertising on Google Ads already, they've already figured it out for you. Versus if not, maybe it'll still work anyway. If you have a new concept, maybe it won't. You'll have to try and figure it out for yourself. But established markets where you see the ads already, you can make it work every single time. And I'm going to show you how. So that all said, the reason why 90% of people don't get actual results with Google Ads has to do with people think of Google Ads like a yellow page listing. They think I'm going to call up the yellow page list for you guys that are too young. Ultimately, there was a thing before Google called yellow pages. I'm going to call up my yellow page rep or yellow page advertising, number, and I'm going to tell them that I want a list in there, and they're going to ask me 3 or 4 questions. My ad's going to be there, and we'll see how it goes. As far as Google Ads concerned, even though the medium is just the digital equivalent of what the yellow pages used to be before Google, completely different in terms of how it's going to work and then how to decide if it works or not. Yellow page listing, as soon as you're in there, that month, you should pretty much get an idea of how well it's going to work for the second month and the third month and so forth, for the most part. Google, it's the complete opposite. The first month is about 4% of all the future results you're going to get once you've ran your ads for about 5 years already. This I know because I've ran some numbers and done a study on this before, comparing clients that we manage starting results to the eventual results. Google, and a big part of this is because Google doesn't treat new people coming in like the people have been, their loyal customers that have been advertising for years already, given they know 90% of people are going to be in and out because that's just how it goes. People aren't patient mainly. And they're not going to push out their favored advertisers that have been there for years in your space for you to come in and figure out if this works really fast. Also being unproven in that your ads and your landing pages are probably not going to perform as well as the ones that they already have a good handle on and are running for years already. And so they're going to be creating an unideal experience for their users, having you run right where the usual people are at the top of Google. What they'll do as a new advertiser is they'll slowly test you out and figure out, maybe by having you show at the bottom of the page instead of the top, and see if the people that see your ad interact with it, and when they get to your site, they get a good experience because they measure everybody that goes to your site and see if they click back to Google and then click on something else. And then if you've proven to them on a small scale basis that you could please their users so that Google users get a good experience of Google Ads as a whole, so they're more likely to click on ads in the future, ultimately, they'll start showing you a little bit more, then a little bit more. And then there's other things that make your ads work better over time as well. If you want to make the amount Google charges you for these ads to be at the top of Google, you got to get more out of it than the next guy in order to make the ads pay. Supply and demand. Google charges what the market can bear before nobody wants the ad space anymore, as they should. And that price is set at what the people who are already doing it right and do put effort in are able to pay for that ad space and still make an acceptable margin. So you should know right up front that if I don't do as good as the top guys are doing in terms of my ad, having a better ad, my landing page or where I'm taking them to on my site is better in terms of does it convert into sales or leads at the very least, then I'm not going to be able to afford the ad space. So, and on the flip side of that, you know, if you can have a better ad than the top people that are advertising in your space already, in terms of do people click through the ad at a higher rate, higher click-through rate is what we would call that, and if my page I'm taking it to converts at a higher rate than the top guys advertising in my space already, then I'm guaranteed, this is where the guarantee comes in that I was talking about before, I am guaranteed to make money with Google Ads. So if you want to boil it down and cut all the bullshit out of everything, what people are telling you about Google Ads, you are guaranteed to make money if you could do these two things better than the people that you see there are advertising on Google Ads already. So, and with all that said though, your ads, you take my advice, you get the better ad, you get the better landing page or better website that converts better than anybody else's that's currently advertising that you see. No matter how good it is still, no matter how good it is, even still, Google needs months, not days, not weeks, months to figure it out and give you credit for it so that you're charging, or you're being charged what the other guys that you see advertising are being charged. And then also learn how to run your ads, given you don't just, people think that when you bid on a certain keyword, you either show up for it or not. No. Within the people searching for a keyword, to give you an example, if you're bidding on the keyword red shoes, Google's going to find the people that search for red shoes on a monthly basis. Which one of them converts well on your site versus other people? The people that search for red shoes, some of them are tall, short, skinny, fat, old, young, all of these different traits that make them an individual and make them different. All those individual traits dictate whether or not somebody's going to find your red shoes that you're selling more appealing than other shoes in the market, or something that they find appealing and would want to buy. So Google does split testing of your ads versus the other ads that are there wanting to show up for red shoes to see if they convert better on your site versus the other sites. And if it doesn't convert very well on your site, then they stop showing your ad and show somebody else's. Because ultimately there's 4 places on the top of Google for your ad, right? But there's 10 people cycled in and out of those spots on an ongoing basis for this exact testing that I'm talking about that's going on, to find out which of the 10 is actually most ideal for the user, for that exact user being a certain age, had a certain search activity before they even searched, to figure out what's the most ideal ad to show. So over time, they find out how to get you a better return on your ads for those keywords you've selected based upon trial and error and figuring out the people within the keywords you're searching that they should be showing your ad to versus showing somebody else's ad to get you a good or better return than you had when you were starting out. So in other words, and there's no way around this. I don't care how bad you want to get pissed and stomp your feet. There's no way to get around the money you're going to have to invest up front for Google's ad serving algorithm to figure out that your ads are not only good, but who they should show up for within the people, the keywords that you are advertising on, to get you a good return. So the amount of time that you're going to have to spend and the amount of money you're going to have to spend up front will vary, mostly by market and business type. The more competitive market it is, the more time it's going to generally take. The more money that's in your market, the more it's going to take. If you're in a market where if you could get Google Ads to work, you can make $10 million a year in profit, it's going to take longer because there's more money at stake, and the people that are there longer have had more money pumped into their campaign to figure out how to run their ads efficiently, and for their Google's algorithm to figure out how to run your ads efficiently. You have more ground to cover to get the same kind of knowledge behind your campaign as well. Respectively, in a B2B service market, it'll take our average client 6 to 12 months before the ads are even profitable. But 6 to 12 months, you're probably saying, 6 to 12 months, I can't wait that long. The reality is, once it starts working, you're going to make millions. Do you think something where you're going to make millions of dollars is going to be easy to get into? And if it was, your competitors would have already been doing it. And when you get it, other people behind you would be able to take it away from you so easily. The only thing that determines if you're going to get the millions or somebody else is how tough you are at not needing something to be done, not needing results right now. The average person that wants to get the 90% of people that can't get results, they want it right now. And if they can't get it right now, they don't want it because they want it right now or nothing. And that's a loser's mentality as it comes to Google Ads. So you could think of the first 6 to 12 months as an investment. Your investment into your future results. Once you got break even, it gets more and more profitable though after that as your Google Ads algorithm learns your ads more and more and more. You're feeding in conversion data about what worked to your Google from your campaigns, and then they're using that data to make your ads better and better. So what you make year 5 in 1 month can potentially be, very realistic to be make up for whatever you lost the first 6 to 12 months. Because usually you'll start out with like a $3,000 a month ad budget, and then you'll run that for 6 to 12 months until your ads work, and you spent $30,000 to get your ads to the break-even point. But at year 5, you're spending $100,000 a month because once you make $3,000 a month work, then you go to 5, then 10, then 20. year 5, 1 month's worth of profits covered the first 12 months worth of the 30 grand that you had to pump into it initially to get it working. The more competitive market, like I said, it is, the more money it's going to take to get it to the break-even point because there's more at stake, there's more competition. It just makes sense that it would cost more. You're not going to get into a market where you're going to make 10 million a year and have to spend 1,500 bucks to get your ads to be profitable because there would be no opportunity there in the first place. Somebody else in your market with little to no money and no patience would have already done it before you. So in B2B markets for services, usually about 6 to 12 months is the amount of time it actually takes to hit profitability. And then it gets more profitable and then more profitable and so on over time. And you can scale your ads, which everything about PPC is about getting to profitability, knowing what your numbers are that you need to have to hit profitability. If you're doing lead generation, you got to know how many leads turn into a sale, what's your average deal size, therefore what you could pay for a lead, and then everything is getting to that cost per lead, and then it's scaling your ads and maintaining that lead cost, and then all the money is made after you hit the break-even point when you start scaling what you've built. So you're trying to build an efficient model that can generate leads at a certain cost, and then it's just pouring on more ad spend to get more leads. That's money's all made respectively. Like I said, year 5, you can make in a month what you've lost in year 1 to get there. For e-commerce businesses, it's usually like 6 to 18 months, even longer. Why? Because in e-commerce, there's even more money usually in those businesses at stake itself. In B2C services, more like 3 to 9 months is what we found kind of on average, to where the time it takes to actually stop losing money and where you're profitable after all your ad spend and your product cost, or in this case service cost, and all your overhead, so to say. So that said, regardless of what business type you're in or have, you have this general chart you know that goes on or that you have to go through and if you're going to be successful, realize going in. Or a lot of you guys wouldn't know it and you would be successful just because you're a patient type of person. But most people are not patient. That's why they quit before it ever works. But so you now know, and if you don't do this, it's your own fault basically. So on one axis of our chart here we have results, and then the other axis we have time. We have time in months. So we have 0, 1, 2, all the way to 9 months. Okay? When you start out your campaign, results are going to obviously be 0. Month 1, your results are going to be very crappy. But you know that if you just wait long enough, you will get results. Not a matter of if it will work and be profitable, but when. The goal always is, of course, still, we want to spend as little as possible to get to profitability that we can. But, partially so that we don't go broke before it's profitable. But still, it's going to take some time. Second month, the results are slightly better, but still not profitable. Month 3, still not profitable, slightly better. Month 4, the results went backwards a little bit. What the fuck? This must be all it can do. I give up. The people that have some fortitude, they keep going. Month 5, it comes back. Oh, okay, now I'm feeling better. I'm back on track. It's back on track where it was in terms of its improvement. Month 6, still not profitable. Oh, it went backwards again. I'm discouraged. I might quit. Or I will quit. For the people that have more fortitude, they keep going. Month 7, ooh, we're almost profitable this month. This is really exciting. Month 8, I made about what I made last month. I'm still not making money. I'm getting impatient. Oh, I want to quit. And the people that aren't pussies, they keep going. Month 9, okay, we finally broke the threshold where we're finally, first month where we're actually making more money than we spent in terms of resources to deliver that product or service and the ad spend. So, if you run all your numbers before you start your campaign, you need this many sales for every dollar of ad spend to be profitable, or you need this many leads per dollar of ad spend to be profitable. Everything is about optimizing your ads to hit that point, and then you can start scaling your ad spend. But it's not going to generally be 1, 2, or even 3 months. It'll be 6, well, sometimes 3 months, but it can be up to 18 months to get there if you're in a very competitive e-commerce market. So your results are going to bounce up and down in terms of your ROI, in terms of your cost per lead while you start out. Just know, overall, when you look at things like on a quarterly basis, which is much better than looking at things on a monthly basis, you'll see your results improving each quarter. And if you just keep at it, eventually you'll have the results you want. And then everything after that will make whatever you spent to get to the profitability point a complete joke. It'll just be crumbs compared to what you're making later on down the road, several years down the road, when you've really had some time to build this thing up. But most people, this is the point where they're going to give up 2 months in. I'm not getting the results I want. I fucking quit right there. Whereas if they would have just waited to the 9-month mark, they would have had a campaign that's profitable, and then over the next 10 years, they made $10 million. It's very similar to that. I'm sure you, or maybe heard, or if you haven't seen, there's a cartoon graphic that shows somebody digging underground to, like a miner. And he's digging, and he's digging, he's digging. And then eventually, he's just like, oh, fuck it. I give up. And like an inch more dirt, if he was to excavate just an inch more dirt on the other side, was a huge pile of gold. And that's how this ultimately all ends up for most people, and why it never works for them. They just didn't wait long enough, and the gold was just right there the whole time. They were just too damn impatient. They didn't want to wait any longer. They want it now. Sorry to, profile anybody, but the younger people that I come across and deal with that are PPC firm are the worst. They want it now, and if you don't give it right now, they're pissed. With that mentality, that's not how life works. Life, the things that are valuable in life, take time, if it didn't, or money, or both, and that's just how it is. You can wait and get all the money, or you can be, impatient and stubborn and not make anything. The decision's up to you. People that are older understand things that are valuable take time, and they're the ones that can make it ultimately work. It's bad enough that, for the most part, we don't work with clients that are too young because they want it too quick, and this doesn't take 30 days to work. If you're under 35 years old, almost always, this person's not patient enough for it to work. It's not even about a resource thing. They just want it to work now. And if it doesn't work now, no matter, you could talk to them till you're blue in the face about how long it takes, and they still won't. They just don't want to accept it. Not to say older people don't do this sometimes as well. Certainly that's not the case. But as a whole, it's almost impossible to get through to younger people. And I blame myself. When I was younger, I wanted things to work right away as well. And that's just how things are. So the quicker you develop and understand things take time, the sooner you're going to be successful as a business owner. Anyway, so this is the kind of formula and setup that you're talking about when you start out with Google Ads. With most people giving up in 2 months, almost nobody gets results profitably in 2 months because of Google's ad serving algorithm and the fact that your cost per click, I meant to write cost per click here. Your cost per click, meaning how much you're paying per click for the clicks that you're buying, will go down about 4x over the first 3 to 12 months. So in other words, if you go type your keywords in Google Keyword Tool and it says approximate bid, high range, and low range, that high range is about what you're going to be paying day one. If you set up your ads better than anybody in your space, which you're gunning for, that should absolutely be something you do not compromise on. You want to have the highest ad click-through rate than everybody else, so you're guaranteed to make your ads work. Over the first 3 to 12 months, instead of paying the approximate cost per click high range, you'll pay the approximate cost per click low range. So you're literally paying 4 times less for a click, let's say 9 months into it, than you are paying day one. And obviously, right there, then and there, and for that concept or for that reason alone, that's reason enough why you have to wait 9 months for it to work, Because how the hell can you pay 4 times as much for the same traffic everybody else is getting in your space and make money or expect to make money? It's not going to happen. You have to wait for the algorithm. Again, no matter how good your ad is, it could be the best fucking ad in the world that anybody's ever written. Google's algorithm's going to treat your ad like the other 90% of these asshats who couldn't wait more than 2 seconds for their ads to work and wrote really shitty ads on top of it because they expect to have 15 minutes to set up their account and then they're done. They're going to treat your ad like those asshats and you know, you're coming in with 2 strikes against you because they're assuming you're like the rest of these guys that don't spend any time on their stuff and are probably going to quit anyway because they didn't get instantly rich. And slowly test it out. Of the potential clicks you could get, it'll be 10%, and it'll be the 10% that converts at the least rate. Just to slowly get some data on your stuff. And it's going to take months before they collect enough data to realize definitively, not kind of, but know definitively that your ad's better than any of the other 10 ads that are there. And then give you the 4x cost reduction, you know, where you were starting out at $5 a click, now you're paying $1.25 per click. And have it realized for your account. On top of that, your conversion rate will go up 5 to 10x over the first, instead of 4x, I really should have wrote 75%. That's a proper way to do it. 75%. On top of it, your conversion rate will go up 5 to 10x. Conversely, over the first 6 to 24 months that you're advertising. So not only are you going to get a cheaper cost per click, where you're paying 75% less per click than you started out if you do the work to have the better ad, and if you don't know how to make the ad, you hire guaranteed PPC and we'll get you the best ad in your market, guaranteed for sure. And that's not just marketing fluff. It's for sure going to happen because most markets, they don't have me working in there making the ads. So, but you're going to have each click you're going to get, it's going to convert into a lead or a sale at a higher rate on an ongoing basis as well. So your clicks are getting cheaper and each click is converting at a better and better rate. And your ROI is just naturally going to go up and up and up and off the charts compared to when you were first starting out. But like before, no matter if you have the best landing page in the world, the conversion rate you get day one isn't going to be the conversion rate you end up eventually, because Google's algorithm, specifically as it comes to conversion rate, is going to split test from the people that on your keywords and the people that type in your keywords that best convert on your page so that they can have your ad only show up for those terms. Because your ad's never going to show up 100% of the time for your keywords, maybe eventually for the most part, but they're going to see where the ad doesn't work very good for a certain type of person that's a certain age or had a certain search behavior before they made that search for your keyword or whatever, and naturally your conversion rate comes up. Now, 5 to 10x isn't going to happen in some markets where it's like a broken toilet you're going to decide right away. For the most part, your conversion rate will maybe come up 1x, or excuse me, 2x. Like it'll double basically in that situation because it's there's not a lot of split testing for Google to do. But in an e-commerce market, or in like B2B services, professional services, it could certainly be where it goes up 5 to 10x from where you start out at, which makes or breaks the campaign and you can't get around it. Or should I say, you could get some sales right away, but the full benefit of what you can get doesn't come in until Google's had some data, that you fed Google some data about what types of people like your product or service and which ones don't, and how to set your ads up for the people that just like it versus not like it so much. And so going back like full circle on this thing, you got all your people that have been there for years. Google knows how to run those ads. They know they're good ads, so they charge them less per click. They know how to run the ads so they get a high conversion rate because they're only having the ad show up for people that really convert at the highest rate for them. And Google has years of data to figure out and know which exact people like the product and buy it and which ones don't. And here you are coming in, spring chicken, thinking that you're going to beat these guys. And you can beat these guys, but no matter how good of an effort you put in initially, you aren't going to beat them with no data on your account. And you're not going to beat them as well if you don't have conversion tracking and you don't feed data into Google, because half the value of the ad spend you're spending, or more than half of the value of the ad spend you're giving Google starting out is just the acquisition of the data that tells Google's algorithm what works and what to give you more of and what to give you less of. And also you as an advertiser can go in there and make your own revisions on what you should do more of and less of as well, on top of Google and what their algorithm does to learn. So eventually, if you have the better ad and the better landing page, it's only a matter of time before Google wants to push your shit the most, give you the best clicks, best people, the most clicks, because you're showing that on these two things that Google is rating everybody on, the click-through rate of the ad and the conversion rate of the page you're taking them to, so that people want to click on ads in the future, that your stuff should be the one that's plastered at the top of Google in your market consistently. Eventually they figure it out and then you are plastered at the top, and then it's fucking smooth sailing from then on out. But until then, you have Google's algorithm's got to get some data. They have to figure it out on their own. You can't force it. So and they're going to figure it out. It's just a matter of when. Is it going to take 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? But it'll eventually happen. And what you should be able to do, well, first of all, other than know this could take some time, is that if your results are trending in an upward fashion in terms of the ROI or cost per lead that you need, it'll eventually get to the break-even point. It's just a matter of when. Don't be like these other asshats that at month 3, because it's not working good enough yet and you're only getting half of the results you need, you just give up right then and there. Stick with it. It'll be more than worth it on the other side once you have. And if you are telling me, but Corey, what do you think I am? I think I'm made of money? Before you go that general route, what can you afford to lose until it works? Don't overspend. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to come in and spend 10 grand a month. I have all this money, and then when it doesn't work after month 1, oh, fuck this. This is not working. Instead of that, start with a $1,000 a month budget, knowing that $1,000 that let's say your business is making $10,000 a month, hypothetically. You take $1,000, you put it towards Google Ads. You know if that $1,000 was gone for the next 3 years, you'd still be fine as a business. You're just investing in your future. And that you keep that $1,000 going, and you keep using the strategies I give you to optimize your ads, and you keep at it, until the algorithm finds you the customers that you need, and it actually fucking works. So you're not constantly, the people that are in there thinking, well, this has to work by month 3 or I'm fucked. That's a totally wrong way to go about doing this. Instead, what can I afford to lose until it works? Even if it takes me 2 years for it to work, I'm going to do it because Corey told me it'll eventually work, and then I'm going to make millions once it does, and then that's going to be my budget. Granted, the more you spend, the quicker you're going to be able to get to the break-even point, because it's not a matter of time for Google, it's a matter of clicks. You're going to need a certain amount of clicks on your campaigns and through your account for Google's algorithm to find that you're a quality advertiser in terms of click-through rates, instead of conversion rates on your landing page. And once you've reached that threshold, and then they gave you all the credit for the lower cost per click, and then figured out the better people they should send to you that actually convert at a high rate, then you're going to be able to make money from then on. So if you can afford $3,000 a month instead of $1,000 a month, it'll basically work. You'll get to the break-even point here 3 times as fast. Is pretty much what you can assume. Just don't spend so much that if it doesn't work at month 3, you quit, because not only is that not realistic, but that's really just truly dumb to go in and invest this money and then you really don't even know if you're going to make money or not. Whereas if you just invested what you could afford to lose, you'll almost for surely always make money. I told you guaranteed to make money, which it really is. It's just a matter of when, not if, as long as your ad or your landing page is better than the competition. You might have to wait a few extra months than somebody else, or more than you think, but it's eventually going to happen, and it's all going to be worth it at the end of the day. You're just investing in a system that's going to churn out customers from then on for you and whatever you spend up front is just your entry fee to get into Google to get to actually do it. So for the most part, that's what's keeping 90% of people from getting results on Google Ads, which, by the way, this works great to your favor, because since most people won't know that if they just waited a few extra months, they would have got a multi-million dollar producing account for them for the next 10 years. You have this information and you're going to be the one that gets it, and everybody else is going to not get it. You want it this way. There is one other thing to mention here of why 90% of people don't get results as well. If you're in a market that has a lot of repeat business, people buy more than once in that market, for the most part, most people are going to expect, particularly ones that have less money, but not just them. I've seen really successful companies with plenty of money expect that the first order that they get should pay for the cost of the ad spend. And if you're in a market with multiple repeat purchases from a customer, that's not going to work. Why? Because the other competition, going back to if it was too good to be, basically if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. If somebody could come in, put a little bit of money in, get a customer that pays for the ad spend, so then they could use that money to get another customer, and therefore they didn't have to come to the table with very much money to start a Google Ads account that's profitable for themselves, then somebody would have did that in your market a long time ago. If you had to wait until the 5th purchase from that customer you acquired through Google Ads to pay for your ad spend and all your expenses to deliver that product or service to your customer, then it's a lot harder for new guys with less money to actually get in it, which again, you don't want it easy to get into it, to get into it. You want it to be difficult, because that means all the money goes to you eventually, if you will. So anyway, they expect it to work to where they don't have to wait for that customer to pay off for them in the long run. The customer's first purchase pays for the ads. Some markets you could do that, but in competitive markets, it's rare you're going to be able to do that. And second to that, they don't actually even know what their lifetime value is. I'm shocked by how many business owners that I talk to don't even know what a customer's worth. You got to know what a customer's worth to understand what you could pay to get a customer in the first place. Otherwise, how do you even know where your break-even line is? Since I'm telling you, most markets you're going to have to value that customer for what they're worth over the long run versus their first purchase. If you don't know their lifetime value, you're not going to be able to understand if you're profitable or not, or when to scale up the spend. And it's more important to know where you need to be at specifically so that you don't constantly panic. You want to know exactly where the goalposts are so that you know if you are through the goalposts or not. Because I'm telling you up front, if you don't do that, you're going to get 6 months into it and then have to run those numbers again. You're going to put yourself through a lot of unneeded stress where you could have just figured out what your lifetime value of a customer is, and therefore what you could pay to get the customer initially, so that when you're going into it, you know exactly what number is profitable and not, so that you don't have to worry every day, is my ads profitable, is it not? Is this money I'm putting into it every month going down the drain, is it not? Just do it up front. So you got to figure out what your lifetime value is. And the other thing people say about lifetime value, by the way, is, Corey, I don't know what a customer's worth. We got some customers that spend this, and some customers that spend this. So I don't know what a customer's worth. It's called averages. I don't know why people can't. You go ahead and you look at your last 3 years accounting software and you see what a customer's worth. You easily pull that data and you average it out. You've got to have a number going in to run your Google Ads, or you're not going to know when it's profitable. You got to know when it's profitable. There's just no way around it. If you're talking about businesses where your customer is worth more than one purchase through your company. As a side note, Vistaprint, I think everybody's heard of them. They built their almost whole business on giving away business cards to their customers. They understood their lifetime value of a customer so well, and somebody there was smart enough to realize that they could just give away their first business cards to the customer, and they're going to make, when they give the customers the business cards, they're going to make an extra $147 in future purchases on average from a customer, that even if they lost an extra $8 on the initial business cards they had to give away, that they would be able to get more, special treatment from Google when people are looking for business cards, that they could beat everybody else at that game, so to say. Whereas everybody else trying to get where people are searching for business cards or charging money for their business cards, here they are giving them away for free. And then all of a sudden, instead of paying, $20 to acquire a business card printing customer, now they're paying $3 because they're the only ones giving their business cards away. And that $17 is actually cheaper than what the business cards to print in the first place. But not only that, they already understand that the real value is in the next $150 worth of purchases they're going to make. So it's smarter to just give away the initial business cards than it is to charge for them up front. This is where you can have a massive edge in your business, understanding what a customer is worth, because most of your competitors aren't even going to know. I can tell you from firsthand experience. And so with that, you can so-called pay more to get to a customer than your competition, because your customer is going to expect that they pay less money to get a customer because they don't know what a customer is worth, whereas you know what a customer is worth. And therefore, you're willing to pay more to get a customer, which means you're going to get way more customers from Google than the other person, because there is still some minimal element of bidding with Google Ads. And because you're willing to pay more, because you understand what the customer's worth more so, you'll end up with more of the customers for that reason alone, let alone these other things I've mentioned. And as it comes to that, ultimately, because you know what your customer's worth and you're getting more customers, your overall sales are going to go up more over time through the use of the Google Ads. As a last thing to mention here of why 90% of people don't get results with Google Ads, they also overestimate, if they are doing tracking, which half of people or more are not even doing conversion tracking on their account and just pissing their money away. Either not making money and they don't know it, or they aren't getting the benefit of having data going into their account, so their account can consistently self-improve through the ad algorithm that Google has to improve your account for you. And that is, they ultimately, the tracking on Google Ads will undercount the amount of sales or leads you're getting by between 1/3 and 2/3. So if your tracking says that you got 30 leads, the more than likely you got 60, if not 90 leads instead of 30. It depends on market how much it undercounts, but it almost always undercounts, unless you're talking about something that people either buy instantly or don't buy at all. Like a broken toilet repair, either when you call, you're not asking and fucking around and thinking about it, you're going to get that done right away or not. And the higher the price of product you have, the longer they wait until they buy, the less accurate Google Ads is going to be, and the more it's going to undercount your sales through the tracking, because the longer it is before they come back, the more likely it is Google is not going to remember that person. Even though it's supposed to, they switch devices, switch accounts, Google doesn't pick all that tracking up. Some devices don't have cookies on them. There's all these different reasons of why it undercounts. So you're saying, well, tracking is so important, but it's so unreliable. The thing is, the tracking will be reliable up to the point that it undercounts a certain percentage, but that certain amount that it undercounts is consistent in that if it undercounts by half or 50%, that 50% it undercounts will be fairly stable through the life of your account. So you can use the tracking to see if you're trending in the right direction or you're getting more leads, because it'll always undercount about the same amount. And with that, you can see if male versus female or one keyword over another keyword are working, because it consistently undercounts across the board over time. You can use it to optimize your account and kind of see if you're on the right track with your account. But what it does not do is show you if you're making money overall because of the undercounting. And so with that, you could do some studies to figure out if you jack up your spend like double and watch your overall sales, how much your overall sales go, to see how much your account is undercounting, so you kind of get a better feel, so that when you just look at your account's conversion tracking, you see how many sales you got that day. But respectively, the people that make the most money in our firm, I convince, instead of just looking at the conversion data in your account to see how well you're doing profit-wise overall, that you give us the target of maintaining a Myrrh ratio, which is a ratio of overall sales in your company, I mean from all sources, divided by the amount of ad spend you have. And let me spend as much money on your account as I can, as long as we're maintaining that ratio. Because that, in effect, then accounts for all the sales that we're getting from all ones that Google doesn't track. It also accounts for any spin-off sales we're going to get through, because if you spend more on Google Ads, your organic traffic's going to go up. It always does. Of course, the more you spend on Google Ads, the more referrals you're going to get, and so forth. So at the end of the day, what you see in terms of sales on your tracking could be a third of what the real sales it brings in from all these other things. And so you could be like everybody else and say, well, my account needs to say I'm making XYZ, and if it doesn't do that, fuck this. Or you could say, I know I get more sales than what it says, and so because of that, we'll just make sure that as long as I'm not spending more than $1 for every $10 we're making, it's fine, and we'll continue to spend as much as we can as long as that I'm not spending $1 on ads for every dollar, or for every $10 on our sales, which should be fine, by the way. Why the hell would that be a problem, considering you're never going to run out of money as long as you're only spending 10% of your sales on ad spend? That right there is such a massive advantage that you have on other people, because they're not going to be thinking that way. They're going to be thinking and wanting the tracking in their account, if they have it, to say that they're getting a 10-to-1 return if that's what they need, when in reality that 10-to-1 return is more like a 30-to-1 return between all the undercounting and all the traffic that they get in addition as a spin-off or as a result of having the ad spend going. And so that in itself is another reason why 90% of people don't get results, because they don't even understand the effect of what this is actually doing for them, and that it's actually profitable when they think it's not, and then quit, and they're just throwing away literally millions of dollars long term because they didn't want to, or didn't know to value the traffic at what it was really worth itself. So a lot of people, in summary here of why they don't get results, they can't come up with a better ad or a better landing page than the market. You need to be in the top 20% in terms of these two things to make money for sure in your market. And then from there, they don't wait long enough. And from there, they don't understand how to actually measure the ads in terms of the full effect of the ads and what they actually provide. Those three major things right there, if and when you know it, you can be successful with Google Ads basically every time. So that is the summary that I have for you here today. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a like. And consider subscribing, as I have a ton of videos on this channel that frankly will make you millions of dollars, in that these are the strategies I use to get real results on our clients' ad accounts at our PPC agency, to get guaranteed actual results. So with the millions of dollars we spend on ad spend, we find out what works, and then I share it with you here on this channel. Can't get better than that in terms of actual actionable advice on how to make money with PPC. Comes straight from the source. Better than anything else you're going to find on YouTube, frankly, for that matter. If you like the channel, you also should check out my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog, where you can find other strategies that make money from stuff that we've learned on clients' past accounts. You can find great information there as well. If you like the channel, you'll love the blog. If you have any questions about anything I shared today, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment or question through the comment section here. If you have any questions about PPC in general, feel free to give me ask me through the comment section. I'd be happy to try to help you as well. If you're looking for not just a good PPC agency, but the best PPC agency that will get you the most results, you should consider contacting my firm, and we can let you know how much sales results we can get for your account on a guarantee. In that, if you're making XYZ dollars per month now, we could guarantee you an additional XYZ amount per dollars in sales per month, in addition to what you're already making, before we could take any fees on our end. We're the only agency out there that's doing anything like this, as far as we still know anyway, because what we have actually works. And so we're willing to put our money where our mouth is, understanding the stuff we teach you on this channel what to do, and that works. And the question is, do you want to pay a decent price to get it done for you? You can do it for yourself, or we'll do it for you. We'll do 99.9% of the work and charge accordingly for the results that we provide. So instead of going out and getting getting a discount service somewhere else, that's probably bullshit. you can go to the source which I'm working on your account personally to strategize it, and we'll actually get you the results. Charge more, of course, but the results are there. But if you reach out, we'll tell you how much results we can get you and if we can work with you at all, because ultimately not everybody we can get results. I can look at accounts and kind of know what we can get before we even start. And I'll tell you what I can basically do with your account up front, but there's only one way to know if I can help you by a large degree, which most people we can help, and that would be by reaching out to our firm at guaranteeppc.com. So I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you there. Peace out.